Okay, so for today, and as Gabriel mentioned, today we're going to be reviewing the Microsoft Dynamics 365 chatbot. Basically, we're going to be talking about Power Virtual Agent and how to use it from scratch. So the idea of this webinar is try to allow you to identify what are the possibilities of the functionality. Um, it's going to be like in general terms and probably it's going to be quite basic, but the idea is try to present the general functionality and allow you to identify that this is a powerful tool and that all of you could get advantage of this. So to start, I'm going to be just doing like a general context. After that, I'm going to be just presenting how to start defining your goals. I mean, when you want to create a chatbot, you must have clear what are your goals or what are the things that you want to achieve. Um, why you should build a chatbot. This is important as well. And finally, I'm going to go directly to the Power Virtual Agent and show you how to implement a really basic chatbot. Okay. So as a general context, the main objective of this webinar is going to be show you the aspects that you have to consider um, as soon as you define that you want to implement a Power Virtual Agent or if you want to implement a chatbot. The idea is not replace the people because the people won't be replaced at any time, but the idea is allow the system help you to redirect the things or answer the simple things and make the people be available to respond probably more complex situation or situations that you consider that must be more with that I mean that the experience of that human experience. So the chatbot is, for me, is going to be something that is going to be helping us to resolve pretty simple things. Of course, you could just create a chatbot with multiple, many different topics, so it's going to be able to resolve many multiple situations. But in some scenarios, the human won't replace it. So the idea with the chatbot is help and try to improve the time that the people is investing in the support cases or attending customers and be able to use the technology to take advantage of this. Okay, why you should build a chatbot? Well, from local family-run business or global enterprise, everybody could take advantage of a chatbot because, as I mentioned, it's going to be platform is going to be a functionality that allows you to enable the knowledge in a pretty simple or in a pretty quick way. So the idea is that I mean, and additionally, the chatbot is going to be available 24 by 7. So it's going to be available anytime. And additionally, you could include functionalities as text, voice, and even graphics. So it's going to be a pretty quick response agent and it's going to be available anytime and it's going to have simple answers to probably simple questions. So is something complementary. I think that it's impossible to have a help desk totally automated, but it could be helpful for some situations. Okay, the chatbot development. Um, the first thing is start defining your goals. So the idea is try to identify why exactly do you need a bot, and 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 it's not just put the bot there and just leave it, because if the bot is not good enough, or if the bot is not redirecting properly to the agents, or if the bot is not answering as the people expected, it's going to be worse that even don't have the bot. So the first thing that you need to define was the purpose of my chatbot. What's the function you should what's the function should my chatbot be able to perform? I mean, you need to have clear what's that specific experience that you want to cover with the chatbot. And after that, you're going to be able to define if the chatbot is the best option or if you just need a chat, because there are some scenarios that you just need a chat. I mean, the CRM, for example, include the omni-channel functionality that you could enable a chat, and the chat is going to be automatic redirect to agents. And additionally, you could create rules and some other things. So it's not necessary an automatic bot, but it's going to be an additional channel that enables the people to contact the support agents. Okay, so this is pretty important. And now basically, and as I mentioned, and I don't want to waste too much time in the theoretical thing. I want to go to the practical thing. So basically, we are going now to the Power Virtual Agent functionality. If you're in the CRM, and probably you don't need to be in the CRM, but at least you need to be authenticated. So the thing is that you need to go to this URL that is going to be web that Power Virtual Agent or BVA at Microsoft.com. So, and this is the Power Virtual Agent administrator portal. The first thing that you need to do is define the environment that you want to use. In my case, I'm going to be using the Optimus demo-based environment. And now, let me explain a little bit about the environment. Basically, you're going to have here the chatbot that you already have. He's um, direct access to the Power Platform experience, but basically the only one that you're going to need is a chatbot functionality. Here you're going to have some resources just to improve your knowledge or to understand a little bit more about how to create a chatbot and some other things. So basically, let's go directly to the chatbot functionality. Uh, well, let's create a chatbot, and after that, I could just try to describe some features or some additional knowledge that you need to know, some additional things that you need to know, sorry. So just click on new chatbot. Here, the system is going to ask you the name of the chatbot. It's usually, I mean, there are so many different chatbots that usually the people define a name just to try to make it more personal, more human, but at the end, it's going to be a bot. So let's say that this one is going to be, I'm going to call him Laura. Oh, I'm going to call her Laura. Uh, you need to define here what's the language that you want to use or what's the primary language that the bot is going to talk, is going to try to use. Um, it's something important because as soon as you define a language, something that you cannot change. So if you define that it's going to be English, it's going to be English always. So if you want something different, you need to create another one. Um, Additionally, you could relate a website that could include additional answers and is going to improve your bot. Something a little bit more advanced, but at the end, it's going to be just a website with answers, and the system is going to try to learn from that. Okay, so just to start, let's create a bot basically. And additionally, you could define, for example, I don't know, an icon. You need or you could define what's the solution in the CRM or in the database. What's the solution that is going to be hosting the bot or including the bot, and that's it. And after that, you just need to create it. So the first time that you create a bot is going to take like 15 minutes. I mean, the first bot that you create in your environment probably is going to take like 15 minutes. But after that, all the bots that you create probably are going to take 1 or 2 minutes. I hope that this one finished pretty quick. But the first one is pretty slowly. I don't know why, but it's going to take a while. So The bot is already here. I mean, the loader is already here. And this, in this moment, the screen is going to change a little bit. At the left side is going to be the menu that I'm going to explain you a little bit in a moment. Here is going to be the tester, or is going to be the preview of the chatbot. As you can see, as soon as the chatbot starts, it's going to say, hey, hi, hello, I'm Laura. How can I help? That's the first thing, and it's going to show the icon that you want. Okay. And here you could just create generative answers, that is the things related with AI capabilities, then probably you could review it later. You could test your bot, and you could go directly to learn more and tell us. Here is not, uh, I mean, this is not functional, it's more like general information. The functionality is going to be in the left side. So the first thing that you need to know is something called topics. The topics are all the things that you want to teach to the bot, for say in some way. So if you want to allow the bot be able to answer to some ingredients like hi or something like that, probably you need to modify this topic. Or if you want to understand, or if you want to define what's the way that the system is going uh, to use to say goodbye or something like that, you could just use this one. The system by default is going to create some lessons here just to let you know uh, how to use it. So, and basically the model, or the way that you build this is define some triggers that usually are words. And after that, for example, if you want to add, okay, store hours or something like that, the system is going to say, I'm happy to help you with store hours. And after that, it's going to tell you the information, and probably is going to redirect or end the conversation. That's a pretty simple topic, but it's the first one in the lesson. So here you're going to find some additional things. Like, for example, if you want to have specific information about any location or something like that, you could configure a multiple choice option here, and the system could predict or understand what specifically you are defining, and which each of these one the system could do specific things. Um, this is a way to do it with buttons or with option users. You could create additional options here, um, like central or and sorry, I just misspelled. So you could just modify here the options, and after that the system is going to be able to do it. So if you want to try this, we're going to be modifying another one in a moment. But for example, find a store. So if you say that, for example, find a store, you could test the chatbot here. So the system is going to show you, or the platform is going to show you where is exactly the step, or what exactly the bot is answering. So at the beginning, it's going to say, hi, I'm glad to help you. And then it's going to send you a question. And here you could see that the system is going to show you the options. And with those options, the system is going to do something specific. Like, for example, let's say that I select the second one, that is going to be Seattle. So if I select Seattle, the system is going to pass through this option, and it's going to say, okay, the address in Seattle is going to be this one, and it's going to ask you if you are okay with the answer. So and what we are doing here is, as soon as we answer that, the system is going to redirect to end conversation. And what's that end conversation topic? So as soon as we redirect to the end conversation topic, the system is going to ask you, did that answer your question? And if you say yes, or if you say no, the system is going to try to do something. So if, for example, you say yes, the system is going to, let's say yes. So the system is going to send you to that like quick survey. And as soon as you, it's not a survey, it's just a feedback. So as soon as you click here, it's going to be here. The system is going to tell you, thanks for your feedback. Can I help anything else? If you define that you want to continue, the system is going to transfer you to another topic or another condition. If you say no, probably the system is going to say goodbye and it's going to end the conversation. So as you can see here, you could define basically a bunch of functionalities, a bunch of things that you could do, and the trick is going to be define properly the topics. So the main functionality or the important here is define properly the topics. Like for example, the gradings. So for example, here, you could have here multiple things or multiple options to say hi. Okay, so by default, the system is going to say good afternoon, morning, and hello, and some other things, but by default, you need to define what are the functionalities that you want, what are the things that you want to include here. So the first thing is define the trigger, okay? After that, you could define a message. For example, this one is just saying, hello, how can I help you today? And it's going to be open, okay? It's not going to say anything, or it's not going to do any specific things. So probably if you say, how can I help you today? Probably you could click here and try to include some additional things. So you could send a message. This one is a message. It's like a simple one. It's going to say just probably a quick phrase or something like that. After that, you could ask a question. Like for example, this one. If you include a question, you could define a question here. You could put some additional things here. You could define that it's going to be multiple choice options, or you could even put many things here. Like for example, well, multiple choice options, option for a list of variable, age, boolean, boolean, I don't know how to say it, probably boolean, city, color. I mean, there is a lot of options here that you could use it. By default, the system is showing you the multiple one because it's pretty simple. You could just define here, for example, things like color or whatever. I mean, you could define options here, and the system is just going to show that as a button. But let's say that you define that it's going to be a question that is going to be related to something specific in the CRM, or is going to be related to something that is more complex. So probably uh, you need to define an entity. So an entity is going to be a group of options, a group of alternatives that you could include here, but it's going to be dynamic. I mean, it's going to be something that you could include more function, more options here, and the chatbot is going to increase those functionalities. That's the difference with multiple choice. The multiple choice is just the options that you define here, and that's it. Okay, so as in the way that you create this, uh, uh, you could just remove it, or you could just add additional things. You could add comments, you could add conditions here, for example. Let's delete this. Additionally, you could ask with an adaptive, adaptive card. Adaptive, yeah, with an adaptive card. This is a little bit more complex. Actually, I don't use it too much this because of because I consider that it's complex. It's something, I mean, it's not too complex, but it's something that basically you are going to define with this editor. You could do a card like this. As you can see, it's pretty fancy. It's going to be with your picture or some additional text, with buttons, with some additional things. And you could define here the specific things that you expect from that. So for example, you want to do like an action here, you could define an action here like this button, or if you want to open an URL, you could just do it. So I think that probably if you are trying to do something more fancy or more explicit, probably this is a good option. But I think that is too much for and you could do it. I mean, I try to make it simple and I try to keep it simple. So This is a good functionality, but I don't use it too much. Um, Another thing that you could do here is, for example, add a condition, as I probably already show you. If you add a condition, of course, you need to be able to validate something. Probably is going to be a variable, and after that, you need to include multiple conditions. Let's try to do it something with a condition. Let let me clear this. If you want to clear this, you could just click here and that's it, and you could just hide. So let's say that you want to ask something pretty basic, um, and I'm going to do something. You could do it as just clicking with buttons, as I mentioned, or you could do it just with the entire response, uh, or you could do it, for example, like a number. Here is going to be a number, and you could say, "Hi, uh, how can I help you?" And let's say that you are going to provide some options here. Could be buttons, of course, but sometimes the people just want to just click a number. So let's say that is going to be something pretty simple like this. So as soon as you create this, you define that the answer is going to be a number. And after that, the system is going to save that automatically in a bar, in a variable. So now you could include here, for example, a condition and say, select the variable that is going to be bar one. And if the value is number one, do something. And all other condition that is going to be do is going to be to do something different. If you want to have multiple ones, just need to click here and the system is going to include that condition. So let's say that I'm going to be actually I'm going to include something like here, like others. So for example, here you're going to have support here and sales here, and and you're going to define the specific actions that you want to do. Like for example, let's say that you define that it's going to be something related with support. Probably you could do multiple things here. Uh, Probably you could transfer the conversation. You could redirect that to another topic. If, for example, you create a specific topic related to support to specify the situations, it's a good idea to create a topic and after that just, I mean, have like a main menu with buttons and probably then as soon as the user click on support, as soon as they click on sales, just redirect that to another topic, okay? Or if you want, you could just transfer the conversation. Um, to transfer the conversation, you need to configure what's the transfer conditions. Basically, there are two things or two ways to transfer that. You could transfer to the omnichannel functionality, or you can transfer to any additional chat or any additional system of chat. But usually we transfer that to omnichannel. If you want to move to a specific step, you could do it. Or if you want to end the conversation, you could do it. So basically, in the topic management is going to be the main functionality. Here you could set variable values as you can see as soon as the user select the option 1, 2, 3. The system define a variable with the value. So here you could just move it or you could change, or you could even clear all variables if you wanted, or you could just try, yeah, like convert the value. And additionally, you could do here just call an action. What is call an action? Uh, Basically, and the main functionality here is, well, there are two main functionalities. The first one is going to be transfer that to a flow. If you create a flow in Power Automate that send an email, that send an SMS, or that create any, or that generate any integration or something, you could call that from here. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is that the flow must in a specific structure. So if you click here, the system is going to transfer you to the Power Automate admin center, and it's going to try to generate like a power, like a flow with the structure that we require. So if you need to transfer that, you could just click here, define the Power Automate, and just make it. You could just call it from here. Another thing that you could do is search in Dynamics, just define knowledge base. Uh, it's the same on this environment, but you could just transfer and try to search in the knowledge base. So it's something pretty good because if you don't want to start defining a bot with too much branches, probably a good way is try to define a couple of those. And after that, try to create multiple knowledge base articles. It could be useful as well. Another thing that you could do here is create or generate, use the answers that you have in the website, in the website that we configured at the beginning, or do additional things like send an event, send an event is trigger an event manually, trigger one of the topics manually, or trigger something specific manually, or send an activity if you want. Okay, so basically, uh, let me see what happening. Probably you're not. Yes, you see my screen. I don't know why. Well, uh, let me see something. Yes, you're seeing my screen. Okay, so here the system is going to allow you to do multiple things. And basically it's something that we need to explore, and the bot is going to be as complex as we require. So let's say that I want to send a message here. Thanks for asking. Thanks for be here. How can I help you with something like that? Something, let's say that is going to be something like it. Okay, so additional, of course, you could include power effects, expressions, and numbers, and multiple things here, but I'm going to leave it like this, pretty simple. So let's say that you just say hi, the bot is going to start, and it's going to send you this simple menu. As probably you already noticed, or probably you could be asking yourself, why don't we include the buttons? As I mentioned, I think that the buttons are pretty cool, but sometimes the people just want to press a number, there are some people that just want to be sure what exactly they are clicking. So the number is not a bad idea. The buttons are better, but both of them are okay. So for example, here, if I click one, um, um, the system is going to send this message. Probably, and I'm just thinking, or I'm just wondering why I prefer use this one, because when you enable the functionality of voice, it's going to be probably more simple. Just press a number. You want to integrate that with a phone call or something like that. The system is going to read the option in the button, but sometimes the number, I think that's easier. That's my feel. So here you're going to have this information, and you could modify the chatbot as soon as as you prefer. Let me leave it. In the entities, you could find things. As I mentioned, this is the predefined function, the predefined things. Like for example, when you create an entity, you could predefine options. Like for example here, or if you define colors, the system is going to have that. You could configure your own entities with the functionality that you define. If you want to create an entity, you just need to click here, and the system is going to show you how you could do it. It's going to show you how to create entities. It's going to explain you that. Uh, or you could even register an external entity that is going to be related to the database or some other ways. So there are multiple ways to do it. But the first one, and again, try to make it simple. There are multiple things here, like email, like numbers, like that. Probably I'm going to cover the things that you already want. So don't try to complex if it's not necessary. Um, Additionally, you could activate this track between topics. As soon as you jump to another topic, if you want to have that information, you could just click this one. That is going to be something cool. You could have a snapshot of your chatbot. Additionally, you could have some analytics here. This information is going to show you how's the behavior of the chatbot, if the people is asking, if the people is using it. It's going to try to measure the customer satisfaction, the time that the session are spending. And of course, as soon as you use the chatbot, it's going to have a bill involved. It's not too much, but if you want to activate additional functionalities, it's going to be a lot. So what does it mean? As probably you see here at the beginning, try and increase conversational coverage, real-time response using Azure OpenAI services. If you use this, you're going to have additional functionalities that is going to be additional billing as well. Okay, let's say that you already define your chatbot with the topics that you want. Let's say that it's going to be like this one. And after that, you want to publish. Before publish, probably we could just try to cover a little of our settings. You're going to have bot details here, like the name, if you want to change the icon, if you want to activate or deactivate some logs. You're going to need this information if you want to embed that in a different system, or if you want to embed that in for example, in a Power App or something like that. Probably you're going to need that numbers. You could activate here some channels if you want to interact with the chatbot from different ways. You could activate some additional channels. Here you need to configure the agent transfer. So when I just was showing you in the chatbot design that you could transfer that to an agent, it's not any system or any agent. I mean, you could just do it when omni-channel or a customer engagement, or try to do something different. But at the beginning or at this point, it's going to be some of this point. And the usual one is going to be omnichannel. So you could click here and configure the omnichannel functionality and transfer that to that. Here, you're going to define some security permissions like share, like authentication, and some other things. It's not required. I mean, you don't need to do too much here, but it's available. You could configure skills, and the idea of configure skills is that probably in a conversation, you could define transfer to a specific person in terms of the skills that that person includes. So that's something possible to do it. Well, just something related could include additional or customize the languages available in the bot. Um, and additionally, you could activate AI capabilities that basically is activate an additional cost service. That's why is this premium icon here. But it's something that is possible and it's pretty powerful. You could just activate multiple things here. You could define the way that the system is going to be contacting you. At the moment, it's just formal, but it's going to be pretty soon. The other options that you could see here, more technical, more friendly, more conversational, more empathetic. So here are going to be is going to be additional information that probably you have to review it. Well, let's try to publish. If you want to publish, basically you just need to click here. The system is going to publish the bot, and when I say it's going to publish, that it's going to be available and that you could use it from a different platform, a different website. And what does it mean is that you could include that to your website. If you want to try it in our demo website, you could just click it here. The system is going to generate that automatically, and you could just try it. It's going to be exactly like that, but it's going to be the way that the people is going to be just reviewing. So for example here, so you could just validate the functionalities here and be sure that as soon as you include it in your platform, it's going to be as you require. Okay, so well, basically that's the general functionality of the Power BI Client Agent functionality. If you don't want to use the chatbot anymore, or if you want to replace it, or if you want to remove it, you just need to click here, and just delete it. If you want to share, for example, if you want to share with someone else to receive any additional comments, or just allow some other people to include functionalities, you could just share it. If you want to export, you could export it directly to a Power App solution that then you could just embed in your CRM system or in your Power Apps platform. Or if you want to delete it, you just need to click here. Okay, so I'm gonna delete it because it's just the the one that I use for the demo, and probably I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna create another one in the next session. So that's the general functionality. I know that probably is going to be pretty simple, and I don't expect to do any complex chatbot here because it's going to take a moment. And anyway, the main or probably the powerful or the functionality that you could have that with this functionality is going to be more related with the Power Automate functionality. I mean, this is a decision tool for say it in some way. So you could define what are the structure of topics and how to redirect and some other things, but the actions that you probably are going to take are more in the Power Automate side. So just just use it like that. I mean, just define your Power Automate functionalities, and after that, use it this like a channel to receive the communication of the people and define what's the way that you want to take. Okay, so that's basically all. I really want to say thank you for all the time and to be here. If you have any question, you could send me an email. My email is jorge.castro@optimus.pro.